coffee, get jacked up. It's time for another episode of the BlockTalk, and I am here with none other than Coach Curry, head honcho here at UA Little Rock Baseball. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys coming, making it a home game for us, and coming to Gary Hogan Field.
Also, yeah, we are excited to be here as well because we know that maybe there are things in the future in the works of stadiums and things along that lines, but this is a beautiful field, and you've been here for 11, 12 years. How long?
So 12th year. A lot of people don't know that we're here. We're kind of tucked away right here in the middle of the city, and you come inside the gates, and this beautiful field of dreams kind of opens up. If you like green grass, that can be therapeutic for a lot of people, but
Yep.
we're right here in your backyard, and it's a nice facility.
And it's funny because people say a lot of things about UA Little Rock being kind of an urban campus and having an urban environment. In some sense of the word, there are residential around us, but they don't recognize the beauty unless they've been here, of the campus, of the field, all those things. It doesn't feel very industrial or very urban when you get out here.
No, you've got Coleman Creek running right through the middle of campus. You got all the trees. You've got dorms. You've got apartment living, and a lot of our recruits when they come on campus, the first thing they say, depending on where they're from, hey, the trees. I didn't realize that many trees. I think they were expecting concrete buildings, skyscrapers.
We have heard a lot of that, and that was going to be one of my questions. Is when they come here the first time, they're on a visit, they're considering spending their baseball college years here, and they arrive on campus, are they just blown away? Or are they just, okay, this is the spot I want to be?
Well, the first and best comment we hear is, wow, that is not what I expected. That lets us know we're off to a good start. The trees, the green, they comment, we say, hey, that mountain pinnacle, we hike that as a team.
Oh, okay.
You can kayak, you can canoe.
That's a good way to recognize their endurance.
Exactly. We actually had a competition in our challenge week before Thanksgiving. We divided the team into 4 small teams, and your entire team had to make it to the top of Pinnacle Mountain and take a selfie. And you got points based on your order of finish. And so I think the guys made it up and down Pinnacle in about 45 minutes. So they're in good shape.
Yeah, no, I would never be able to do that, at least not at this age. So here's the thing. We want to talk about baseball from the very start as far as when you came here to what it is now, because now we have an incredible baseball program. You mentioned prior to the show some of the things that you've managed to accomplish and places that we've been seeing that we maybe not otherwise have been seen. So when you started to where you are, kind of what has been the progress and what has it been like to start when you arrived to where you are now?
Well, a little bit of the history, it's called Gary Hogan Field. The great Gary Hogan, former, I believe, sportscaster, and then took over the baseball program with his own hands, built this facility. It was Kerr and Conway Park, and if you're probably older than the 70s, back in the 60s and 50s, it was a literal sandlot, and the kids from around the neighborhood would meet here and play just like you see in Hollywood. And then the city worked with the university, gave it to the university, and Coach Hogan turned it into a college baseball field. And now we've really, really upgraded it with the help of our admin, Frank Cuervo, and made investments to make sure that the surface is a Division I playable field. But when we took over the job 12 years ago, it had fallen on hard times, and the university decided that they wanted to go a new direction from the baseball side. And very frankly, a lot of folks were not interested. They weren't sure if you could compete and win at the Division I level. We were in the very tough Sun Belt Conference, and a lot of other schools were investing and competing at a high level. And being a Little Rock kid, I understand the dynamic of the city. I understand the university. Baseball took me all over the country and back home. And at 34 years old, I thought the time was right, and I would be able to connect with assistant coaches coming here and bringing their families here, along with recruits. And so I joke we've been an overnight success in 12 years. So
it's a quick turnaround though from where you started to where you are. I mean, you're in, I would say, the very beginning of the inning in the sense that you have so much left to do here.
Sure.
But you've taken the team itself over time. And of course, there's been a cycle of kids in and out for, I guess that would be like, so for 12 years, you've been doing it for a full class of students 3 different times. So you've
Right.
watched kids come in and grow like significantly from their freshman year to their senior year. And it has to be hard to go through those cycles to where you really coach this kid up and then they're gone. You're like, man, but then you do it all over again, which has to be rewarding. You have a unique insight because, like you said, baseball's taking you all over the country. So your relativity to the kids has to be pretty simple in the sense that you can say, hey, I've been where you've been. This is, how you get to where you're going. So what made you first fall in love with baseball and the first, ball you ever hit? How old were you and what got you this excited to keep going with it?
Yeah, great question. So, ironically, my parents were both band majors in college, and I took 2 weeks of piano, and that was it. However,
did you learn "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during that time?
We didn't get that far.
Okay,
they made chopsticks is about it. But Dad went to McClellan High School and met my mom at Northeast Louisiana, now called Louisiana Monroe.
Okay,
and he was actually on church staff at Geyer Springs, right down the road, and so right in our backyard. Like I said, 2 weeks of piano wasn't my gig. Mom actually signed me up for machine pitch and fell in love with it at 9 years. Did not play my first game till I was 9 years old. So anybody that'll tell you that a kid has to start at 5 years old, that's not true. We played 15 games, rec league. I think you paid $35, got you a hat and a jersey, and that was it. And I fell in love with it and played for Coleman Dairy, Walt Coleman, David Rowe. I think I got the jersey over here in my office, but played with those guys through Little League. And then we moved to Conway and played there 92 to 96 for the great Noel Boucher and Barry Looters. And learned toughness, learned baseball at a high level. Went to junior college at Meridian, Mississippi. Played for Scott Berry, recruited by Corky Palmer, 2 college baseball Hall of Famers, and then got the opportunity to play for the great Ron Polk at Mississippi State. And that's when my career, I knew very, very early on, to answer your question, throwing a ball, it made sense to me. It was accurate. I got in trouble a lot when I was a kid because if there was a broken window or something had been hit by a thrown object, that was going to be me. And so the accuracy and velocity, I had to use that for good things like throwing a ball. Just loved it. I'm an 80s kid. We drank from the water hose. We played outside. If you came inside during the summer, you got chores. And so we were playing pickup games.
Till the street lights come on. Till
the street lights came on. And whatever season it was, that's the sport we played. And I think that helped with the overall athleticism. Not going to get on a soapbox, but I think kids specialize too much these days. I think no matter what angle that your athleticism leads you, think you were a basketball player, still by playing other sports can help with your best sport.
And your attitude and your endurance and your ability to work with a team. And I totally agree on that front because people sometimes say, and just to be completely transparent, like, oh, well, baseball doesn't involve a whole lot of athleticism because they're just running around the bases. And it's like, no. There's so much strength that has to come behind the hits and the throws. And then also, you're going to have to be fast if you want to steal a base or get all the way around in a quick amount of time. And they don't understand, like, I tried. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's pretty cool. So then you got, I guess, into college athletics and then you moved to the semi-pro league. Is that correct?
Yes. So I was fortunate to be drafted in a major league draft 4 times. I did not sign until the 4th time. Just wanted to play in college. The terms we didn't quite agree on until the last time. And so I was drafted in the 9th round by the Chicago Cubs.
Nice.
And went into their farm system. I was a Eugene Emerald in Eugene, Oregon. And so a total culture change and shift, although it was really cool for an Arkansas kid to see that part of the country. They didn't have air conditioners in the windows. I didn't understand that. I know you're from the West Coast.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Catholic High does do the same thing. They don't put air conditioners. They're trying to keep it uncomfortable.
For a different reason.
Yeah.
The nights were cool, and we went out there in June. I thought it was going to be hot, so it was cool, but pretty country. Then got shipped across the country to Daytona, Florida. Needed an air conditioner. I was a Daytona Cub there in High A. Jackson, Tennessee, Des Moines, Iowa, Norwich, Connecticut, I was a Lansing lug nut.
Man, all over the country is right.
All over the country. And then, like I said, Norwich, Connecticut. Of course, spring training was in Phoenix. So I got to experience the desert a little bit. And what all of that showed me was I love being right here back at home. I love the 4 seasons we get. I love the green. I'm an outdoorsman with my family. And it's just a blessing to come full circle and be coaching back at home. My wife is a small town Arkansas girl from Hamburg, and so we love being around family and coaching in our backyard.
That's pretty cool. And when you said all around the country, my mind immediately kind of went to the recruiting side of things, because it's not just the homegrown kids. We love a homegrown kid that comes to play for the university and is in the education system and pops over. But since we talked about it being a little bit of a hidden gem here at UA Little Rock, what does it look like when you have nationwide recruits you're looking for? Where do you look? I mean, are you watching ESPN and saying, like, here's what's going on? Are you watching high school stats? Are you what's the key to finding a great recruit and then convincing them here to come and be a Trojan?
Yes, to all the above. We recruit from the inside out. We start right here in Little Rock. We want to keep as many of the best players at home that we can. We have a high level of baseball here in this city, in this state. And so there are a lot of folks that are recruiting the state of Arkansas. We have stiff competition around the state, and that's well known. And so we have to work really hard to keep an in-state recruit, but we're proud of the number of kids that we have on our team that are from here. If we can't find a fit here, then we want to try to attract someone from a bordering state. The university has great transfer scholarships, especially for contiguous states, and makes it attractive for someone academically. And, we've had 22 semesters with a team GPA over 3.0. And so our guys are smart and they get academic transfer money. And so that's a great way to combine our packages and offers for the kids. Then we go out to California. Alex Seguin, 3-year starter at shortstop, was number 3 in the Gold Glove voting behind Aloy, who played for the team in Fayetteville, and Chalowski out of UCLA, who's probably going to be a player a year, and then our own Alex Seguin, California guy, Ryan Geck. We got Canadian guys. And then what I really like is we've got some Latin America guys. Angel Cano, probably the most famous Little Rock player right now, the MVP of the Baton Rouge Regional. He's a wonderful human being, strong faith kid from Latin America, Colombia. And then we got 2 guys from the Dominican. And so I think Little Rock baseball very much mirrors what you see on TV. And, turn on a ball game, it's Ohtani, from, the Far East. And then you got Australia. We got an Australian, Beasley. Down under, who throws from down under. He's got a low arm slot. And so networks, to answer your question, it's who you know, right? Everything is who you know in business and life. And so we've got some pipelines in recruiting of coaches and schools that have sent us good players. And then when they have another one, they call us, and their credibility is good. And we have places that we watch closely. The junior colleges are very, very important, which the state of Arkansas, the junior colleges have exploded. I think there's 6, 7, maybe more. And junior college baseball is really exploding. As a former junior college player and coach, I think that's great, because not every kid out of high school is ready immediately, especially, and this could be a whole nother podcast with the portal and the contraction of the major league draft from 50 rounds to 20 rounds. Now there's a lot more players that are looking for places to play. And then the rosters coming out of the rev share and NIL got smaller. So that squeezed the number of opportunities for a high school kid. And so we look at the junior colleges, and then, of course, the 4-year transfers in the portal.
Yeah, and the NIL thing could be its whole other conversation as well.
Certainly is. And
certainly changed the whole landscape of colleges.
We're very much in the middle of it. And that's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for our players. I believe they should have the opportunity to earn and reap the benefits of their hard work, and within reason. And I think all of our guys are great about it. Like I said, Frank Cuervo and his administration are equipping us with the things that we need. Even before we won at Baton Rouge, he made sure, because recruiting is 1 to 2 years out in advance, even more in some regards. And so you need to know early what you're working with so you can go find the best players.
Well, and to your point about, players coming here and staying here, but also being attracted to the university, some of that has to do with coaching methodology. That has a lot to do with who am I going to be playing for and who am I going to be playing with. And respecting that, I'm curious, like what are some of your methods? What are some of the things as a coach, without giving away too much of your secret to success? What's the thing when you're recruiting a player that you say, hey, this is what you're going to get playing on the Trojan field, playing with these players, that's going to attract them to come and join the program?
Sure. I think today, especially now more than ever, it's about creating value for yourself. And so we start there. We ask them, hey, what does it look like for you 5 to 10 years from now? 99 of it, 100, coach, I want to be a major leaguer. Say, as well you should, and we're going to help you get there. I think we've had 12 guys drafted in the last 11 years, something like that. And so the proof is in the pudding that you can accomplish your dreams of professional baseball through Little Rock. If you study the rosters right now for MLB, all the paths don't necessarily lead through Power 4 universities. And so we start there. Creating value for yourself by making yourself a very, very good player through strength training, through mental training, obviously through coaching, making yourself a better player. But then off the field, let's just say that it's not God's plan for you to be a big leaguer. I'm walking, talking proof of that. We had Evan Lee is our pitching coach. He's from Bryant. He played in the big leagues a little bit for Washington. Now he's coaching. He's having to fall back on his degree. I had to fall back on mine. And so we really drive that message home of, hey, we walked in your shoes. We've chased our dreams. We're going to chase it until they make you take the jersey off. But we're going to have a plan B.
Yeah.
So that, you can start a family, you can get a job, and what that looks like based on your skill. But if you create value for Little Rock baseball, meaning if you help us win games, if you're a pitcher, if you win, if you put up zeros on the scoreboard, if you're a hitter, can you score runs? I mean, that's baseball. We're trying to score more runs than they do. We're trying to stop them from scoring. So how do you create value within that for the team? And then as a result of that, you're going to create value for yourself. The scouts are going to come calling, the draft and all of those things. But you can't have that out of order.
Yeah.
You can't be a selfish player.
Well, and it's interesting because the attractive point to me there is, okay, you want to invest in me as a player, and your investment with me as a player is going to create investment in the team. And I think sometimes that gets lost because it's like, hey, I just want to go play baseball and be famous and have my jersey and be in the major league. But you need guys who have the strength of mind to say, okay, I want to play this sport. It may not be, my dream might be there, and it may not be something they might be like you. Your plan B is put you in your A game. And it's been one of those things that all of a sudden the success you're bringing to the university and to the team, you wouldn't be able to do that if you were playing Major League Baseball.
No, I like every little boy who picked up a ball in the bat, thought I was destined to
Babe Ruth.
Major Leaguer. Yeah, and there's only one Babe Ruth. There's only one Ohtani. Those guys are less, a little stat, not to be a dream killer, but I think kids need to be educated that only 2% of the drafted players end up in the major leagues. So 2 out of every 100 kids that are drafted play on TV. You need to have a backup plan. Mm-hmm. And that's what we talk about. If your plan is all about promoting yourself and your brand first and only, we have built the kind of culture here where that's oil and water. And the program and that person kind of, they don't mix. Mm-hmm. And the program has a way of weeding those guys out. Our locker room, our guys protect our culture and our brand and make sure that you're a team guy first.
Yeah.
But it's an easier message when you can say, look at the ones who have come before you. This was a team guy. Look at that guy. He's a team guy. Look how it worked out for him. Look at Jackson Wells and Haas Brewer, and those guys are pro guys now, and they were team guys first, and now they're getting what they wanted out of this.
Well, and it's showing over the course of time as well. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, as you said. You guys are doing great, and it's been this a wonderful thing to look at and say, man, UA Little Rock is a place to go where you can watch baseball, but man, you can play it. And at the end of the day, these guys, like you said, are getting moved on, and they're doing it from an individual investment and then from a team investment. And so the coaching part has to be super rewarding, watching these kids come in and learn not just about what they're playing, but who they are. Plus, they have a really affordable education. If they don't have scholarship money, they're still able to get a high level education and be doing what they love at the same same time. So respecting what you said about, homegrown players versus people coming in and transferring, our residents of Little Rock may not all be so aware of how strong this program is and what's going on. And so can you walk me through, these last couple of years,
Sure.
how that run has just taken you from here to another level?
Sure. You touched on a lot of great points. I think, first of all, enrollment is up. And, high tides rise all boats. Mm-hmm. And so Chancellor Drayle and her team have made a great plan for folks to come here on the front end. Our recent success, and then other athletes, look at what wrestling is doing. The mm-hmm. basketball programs have both historically been great, but other teams are winning. Winners win, and they attract winners. And so kind of over the last 24 months for Little Rock baseball, what we offer players is a platform. We offer you a stage, and all great players, they just want the spotlight. They want the stage. And they really deep down, I think a competitor wants to answer that burning question, do I have what it takes? Am I good enough? Do I have that it? Well, you got to be on the stage in the big moment with the scoreboard on to answer that question. And how do you prepare for that? So this, again, has not been an overnight success. I think 2 years ago, we had 30 home games, ESPN Plus, about 400,000 people tuned in to watch Little Rock baseball play on their device or smartphone.
Twice the population of the city.
Yeah. and so right then and there, people are seeing Little Rock baseball and UA Little Rock. Then you fast forward to the Baton Rouge Regional, and over 6 million people engaged on our social media platforms. Somebody said that at the beginning of our LSU championship game, there were 800,000 people watching on ESPN, and then by the end, it was over 1.1 million. I think it's the second highest, most viewed game for any regional. And so that all points back to UA Little Rock. And those guys that came here, that's the stage they wanted. And what makes me so proud in all the compliments and letters and emails and phone calls and tweets and texts we got afterwards was, wow, you guys handled the big moment. You guys weren't afraid. You didn't back down, and as a coach, that just makes you, you want to stick your chest out and say, hey, that means we were prepared. Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny. The week before we left, we turned on some loud music out here because, hey, it's a hostile environment down there at Alex Box Stadium. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to go down there, but it's 14,000 Cajun fans who know your name and your mom's name, and they're going to tell you about it. But, hey, they were great and treated us with respect, and we have so much respect.
A highly competitive environment.
They want to win.
Pressure on.
They want to win, and there are high expectations there, and Little Rock took them to the brink. But we had Colin Baton Rouge blaring out here at Gary. I'm sorry. I am so sorry to our neighbors who have houses just behind our fences.
No, they were probably in the crowd. All good.
I don't know. Maybe they were tapping their foot to it, but we had Colin Baton Rouge blaring out here as we're taking fly balls because you couldn't hear anything. Mm-hmm. And we had all kinds of piped in crowd noise to prepare for that moment. And
that was smart.
We needed it. A few times on the bench, our trainer would come to me and show me a smart watch and say, hey, this decibel level is too high. And so that's the stage, right?
That's amazing strategy, though, on your part as a coach, because people forget that, going into that, it's not just the pressure of the game. It's the pressure of all these people pushing it against you because they want their team to win. Yeah, it's not just your crowd. You're used to playing in front of your crowd. They love you. They support you. But going against a huge group of people like that, what a moment of pressure. And that's great preparation. I honestly, have never heard of a coach who did that. I think that's really cool. Yeah, no, even playing basketball, they did not prepare us for that kind of thing. We'd go in loud stadium. It's a little bit scarier than if you're going in totally prepared. This is going to be super loud. There's going to be crowd noise like you're talking. That was a brilliant strategy. We might want to keep that part out of the bomb.
Well, I, like all coaches do, I stole it from someone else, their idea. But typically baseball coaches don't think about that. But not to get into the nuts and bolts and weeds so much, but on fly ball communication, let's just say, for example, if a fly ball goes up between you and I, somebody's got to say, I got it, and somebody's got to say, take it, or there's going to be a collision and a baseball laying on the ground. We practice that. On the base running side, you can only see, you can't hear. You've got to run with your head up, and just being able to even when you cannot hear yourself think, which sometimes is a good thing, because our brains can send us the wrong messages.
Yeah.
But we also, with college baseball, the in-ear communication, and we had to make sure that you knew player by player how to turn up your in-ear communication to get the sign.
Yeah.
And those fans are educated. They know that. And so they see you going to your ear, they raise their volume. all those nuances had to be discussed and handled, and I thought our guys handled it great.
Well, from a coaching standpoint, you've definitely done a great job, because the evolution of baseball, I mean, you've been doing it since, like you said, you're 9 years old. You're not 9 years old anymore.
No.
Walking through that evolution has probably been difficult, but it's clear that you have accepted that challenge and risen to the occasion. So that's very cool to hear. Very cool to see. So going back to a recruiting standpoint, because we're talking about all of these great opportunities and all the stuff that you do to empower this team. When you're looking at a recruit, my curiosity can't help but be picked of like, what are you looking for most? Like, is it a left-handed pitcher? Is it an incredible shortstop? Like, where are you short? You know, those kind of things on the team. What is it that you normally look for that's a huge piece of the success of a team?
Well, any baseball coach would tell you it starts and ends on the pitching mound. And half of the roster, so if we're at 34, half of those guys are pitchers.
Wow.
And that is across the board. You go looking at roster.
Wild.
Yes. And typically, generally speaking, a guy throws one time, he cannot throw again for a week because of recovery for his arm. Now, there's relievers that can come back, but most guys are once-a-game guys. And we're going to play 4 or 5 games a week. And so our roster is going to have to utilize
very heavy.
Left-handed pitching always wins. Historically in the major leagues, left-handers have a winning percentage. That was one area.
So weird. Why?
You just don't see it. You don't see there's not as many left-handed people walking around on the earth. And so you don't face that coming up in amateur baseball from the left side. It's a different look. It's just different, especially when you're a left-handed hitter. And so if you can find a good left-handed strike-throwing pitcher with a breaking ball, their value is immeasurable. Then you try to defend in the middle of the field. More baseballs are hit in the middle of the field than down the lines. And so I think your catcher, who's the quarterback point guard of the team, the only player on the field who can see the entire field, and the only player that everyone is looking at him, if you think about it. They're all facing the catcher. The catcher is seeing the entire field. Your shortstop. That's your second quarterback on the field, going to set the defense up. We were so fortunate to have Alex Seguin 3 years there. Then your second baseman, then your center fielder. They're going to prevent more runs probably than they drive in by the balls they catch and things like that. Then as you get to the corners of the field, you're looking for more power. First and third baseman, your DH, those guys are driving in runs. And then you start to fill in the pieces just from a standpoint. There are 5 measurable tools in baseball. Can you run? Can you throw? Can you hit? Can you hit for power? Can you play defense? And so a 5-tool player is that Ohtani we're talking about, literally does everything. We're looking for a guy with 2 professional tools. A 3-tool guy at our level, that's probably going to be a pro, and he can help us win a championship. On the mound, we're looking for strike throwers. We're looking for, walks get you beat, walks always score. And then we look for 3 pitches in command, or an out pitch, a slider, a curve, a changeup, a split finger.
There's a lot of technical training here. So I would like to give a message to all kindergarten teachers across the nation. Please train your left-handed students to throw a ball, just preferably not in the classroom, and then send them our way.
There are dads across America tying their kids' right hand behind their back.
That's
and they
wild.
Be left-handed. But
ideal would be ambidextrous, I'm guessing.
That would be perfect. There is one right now in professional baseball. I think he pitched for the Travelers. Ambidextrous pitcher. Got 6 fingers on his glove, so he can switch at any time. Pitched at Mississippi State.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Well, and the thing is, like, again, going back to your record, going back to this recent run, going back to all these things, I mean, you drew a lot of attention. You had to have some increase, not just in our enrollment as a university, but in the idea of people being interested in UA Little Rock. What's the number one thing you sell them other than team culture, other than the ability to, like, yes, you participate in the NIL is a big thing and all of that. Like, what's the number one selling point for you as a coach to that player, but then also what's that player selling back to you that you're really looking for character wise? Are you looking at the guy before you look at the skills? Are you looking at the skills and then digging into the guy? I mean, tell me a little bit about that process when you're in a room with somebody trying to figure out, are they a right fit? Are they a Trojan? Sure.
Well, first of all, what are we offering them? We're offering them a life in baseball and life after baseball. And what we're going to do is we're going to train you right now in this short window that you have. Because we all know
it goes by fast.
It goes by fast. And then you start getting up in the morning, it's a little harder and a little harder. And then you got to work harder to stay in shape and all those things. It fades. And no athlete believes that they're ever going to lose it, so to speak. But we all know that we all do. And so it's can you capitalize on this window where your body is at its absolute best and fastest and peak? And how do we do that? We eat right, drink right, sleep right, train right, all those things. I've got a wonderful staff that does all those things. But then life after baseball, what's going to happen when you got to put the ball down and you got people depending on you? You're a father, you're a husband. You can't just stop when you're done at 25 or 30, or if you get to play to your 35, or if you're an anomaly at 40, you've still got a lot of life left.
Yeah.
So what's it going to look like? And how are people going to, you're going to show up, you're going to get out of bed, you're going to be on time, you're going to outwork the people down the hall or out there that are against you. We talk about those things and we give them the roadmap for that kind of success because we're living it. Not that we've been successful all the time, but hey, look at our mistakes.
Very realistic.
Look what we've done. Hey, don't try that. That'll land you here. Character-wise, we hope, again, and we touched on it earlier, our culture attracts the one that are what we call OKGs, our kind of guys. And then and then it not rejects, but it kind of repels the guys that are not. And you get who you are. You attract who you are. They find
attracts
you,
like,
and that's very much in recruiting. And we know what kind of guys may work somewhere else, but it just won't work for us.
Yeah.
But we really, really have to do a good job on isolating who would really fit what we're doing. We want to be dynamic as far as a position player side, be able to run, hit, throw, hit for power. But on the mound, we've got to have a lot of different looks and a lot of different types of things. But deep down, I just want guys that are tough. And what does toughness mean? It doesn't mean getting in the octagon and going 3 rounds. It means, hey, when it doesn't go your way, what does it take to make you quit? Where's your quit level?
Yeah.
How low or high is that?
How's your endurance on and off the field?
Bingo. And life, hey, we got some guys, they're human. They're going through some tough stuff. I got a text 2 weeks ago from a player on our team. And he said, hey, Mom just got out of procedure, lasted 2 hours. They think they got all of it. It's like, man, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's a good day at your house. And that's got nothing to do with hitting or throwing a baseball.
Yeah. Which shows, it speaks to your character as a coach because that's who he reached out to. And there's a closeness there.
Appreciate that.
That's something, the first thing he thinks of is I'm going to tell my coach, which means there's definitely a lot of closeness.
Then we have one who lost his dad 2 weeks before he gets to campus. I mean, and where's the playbook for that?
No.
And so you and these guys go through all kinds. They're human, just like you, just like me. They life happens without the ball in their hand. And so how do you coach them through that? And we got a lot of people surrounding our program that are not baseball coaches, but they're life coaches and that invest in these guys and reach out to them because they don't know why that there's a lightning bolt in their arm or electricity in their bat and they can just hit it and throw it further than anybody else. But there's a lot of things they need to know how to do, even money and taxes and investing and debt and all.
They don't think about when they're just looking to throw a ball. But this is the thing about it. I mean, I love the name Trojans because I always feel like, okay, we're the Trojan horse of baseball in the sense that you don't see it coming and we are going to come in and dominate you. But also the program itself is kind of sneaking into where it's not just baseball. It's all these life skills. It's all these things you wouldn't otherwise think about when you're looking at college. So it's really cool that you have a great balance of, look, you're going to come here. We want you to play great baseball, but really we want you to be a great person, well-rounded, have a good education and see your future, whether it is in the major leagues or it's ending up coaching and, whatever it might be, just being a dad or whatever. It's pretty cool that you get that whole entire experience. And speaking of Trojan horses and things that are a bit of underdog, you guys have some big, huge plans for the future. Yes. Frank Cuervo has come in with some vision that is, beyond what I saw. We were able to come and check this out the night that it was announced about, hey, this is what we're looking to do. Right. And my mind was blown when I saw the rendering and what the plan looked like. Yeah. Surprise. Here's your future. Yeah. So being that we can probably pull this thing off, I can't see why we wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Field of dreams, right? There you go. So tell me a little bit about this project. When did you find out from Frank that he was going to cast this major vision, but really mostly for the baseball program? How did you find out? What did it feel like? What are you looking to the future for?
Yeah, first of all, Frank is exactly what we needed at the right time. I think he's been here about a year and a half. I believe my timeline's correct. He's a baseball guy, selfishly, so we were really pumped when he got the job. He played at Florida in the '90s, a storied program, catcher like myself, so kind of a field general. And but what I also liked is he's been to other places and seen what's out there and seen how it's done. He just got finished building a stadium at Illinois Chicago with their former big leaguer Curtis Granderson. And there again, is an urban setting and kind of had the blueprint for it. And that's the first thing. One of the first things he said is we got to get, this is great, a lot of nostalgia here and memories, but we got to get you guys up on campus. And then wouldn't it be great to kind of bracket campus with the Jack Stevens Center on one end, and the Little Rock Trojan baseball field, or whoever wants to name it after their gift, we'll call it your name. But he played it close to the vest in the planning and all those things. And really that was, I think, more about, hey, coach the team, we're going to get a plan here. And so I saw these drawings same night you did.
Nice.
And
okay.
And my wife and I were just walking down and going, oh my goodness.
You're like, where's my new office?
Exactly. I overlooking that stadium every day and pulling up to it, but just for the city of Little Rock. And it would, ripple effect, blocks
whole area
around it. And I think that would be great for everyone, students to be able to walk from their dorm or apartment to come to a game, folks that live close by to come and sit down and watch high level Division I baseball right in your backyard. We're going to have great teams. Also, the amount of people that can come to this facility, because it's not just a facility that can be used for Little Rock baseball 30 nights a year. We're talking about high schools playing tournaments here. I'd love to have state championships here. We can have events. I don't know if we're big enough for Banana Ball, but
what's Banana Ball?
Well, the Savannah Bananas. It's the craze that's sweeping the country, and they. I would call it kind of the Globetrotters of baseball, kid friendly. We actually, fun fact, have a former player, Jordan Hussein, who is playing for one of the teams that plays against the Banana Balls, and maybe the Texas Tailgaters. Maybe, don't quote me. Anyway, those kind of attractions and events at a place like that would just draw all kinds of positive activity through the fall, junior college tournaments. High school teams could play there when we're not playing, state championships, travel ball tournaments. It could be a year-round attraction for the economy for Little Rock and also the university as well. But that's the kind of facility. And when I knew Frank was really serious, is the first time we kind of sat down and talked about it. And the architect said, well, what do you want? And Frank, without hesitating, said, well, I want to host regionals here. Yeah. Well, that's a big league statement because hosting a regional requires a high-level stadium. Yeah. All kinds of amenities and being able to, but can you imagine right here in Little Rock if LSU came here to play along with two other teams?
We can give them the crowd noise they're looking for.
Sure. Yes, we owe them in that regard. They're the Cajun fans there. But that would be a blast, and it would change. It would be life-changing for our program, for our players. They deserve it. And our coaches.
Yeah. And the future of Little Rock baseball is bright. And so it's exciting to think about, okay, it's a great recruiting tool in the sense of like, hey, not only are you going to have a great experience, like we all talked about all those aspects of it, but hey, let's come play at this amazing, beautiful facility. And I think that helped with Jack Stevens Center as well. It was like a huge point of, okay, things really happen. Plus you have Trojan Way kind of connecting everything at this point. So throw the baseball stadium at the end. I also think to your point about the economy, like this is a small town in a big city. And what you were talking about with connections being something everywhere in life and all of that, it's like, well, in Little Rock, that's pretty easy to find because you're 1 or 2 degrees of separation from someone in the community. You know that from being homegrown yourself. So it's interesting because I'm looking at this going, we have the inside interest and the inside money to make it happen. It's just a matter of letting everybody know, hey, this is what we're doing, because the economy of Little Rock itself, the strength of a city is oftentimes laid on the shoulders of the university. And if the university can continue to attract people and Take Me Out to the Ball Game becomes a let's do this on whatever night it is. I was going to say Tuesday, Thursday, but I want to be wrong. Whatever night of the week that it is. I mean, that's something you can do with your family and come out and enjoy it. They can come and enjoy it here for now, but who's to say they can't do it at a bigger, more fun, like giant stadium that's attached to other things, restaurants, mixed use, like all that kind of stuff, and change, like you said, the corridor for couple miles at least.
Sure, and it's funny. I remember as a kid driving from Geyer Springs Road, where we lived, up to University. There was the Cinema 150, Casa Bonita behind there. It's how far I go back. And I think my
I was
dad.
going to say that was a while back.
My dad joked he used to drag race, muscle cars in the 70s up there.
So he's the one who started it. Okay.
Yeah. But ill-advised. Don't do that,
Yeah.
kids. But just
drive the ball, not the car.
There you go. It is a fact. You can research it that a new ballpark. I mean, look what the field did downtown in North Little Rock for that area, revitalized right down from the arena. And so, yeah, it can only help everyone and bring a positive spotlight to our university.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see what you do with that. You've done a great job with our team. It's been really exciting to sit down with you and hear more about it. I know that I can't take this as a souvenir, but I sure would like to. These guys have had a great experience. It's very clear that they love their team and love their coach. So we hope you'll stick around for a whole lot more. And hopefully we'll see you sitting in this beautiful stadium here in the years to come. So really appreciate it. Is it the 9th inning or the 10th or the 11th? You can keep going, right? But we're in the 9th inning.
We'll play extra innings.
Yeah. So we're in the 9th inning here, but I can't wait to swing back around and see what you're doing next season. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and talk to us about Trojan baseball.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for shining a spotlight on us, and we're happy to shine the spotlight on the university. We'll start Valentine's weekend, and so bring a date. Can't think of a more romantic place to be than the ballpark on Valentine's weekend, and first pitch banquet on the 22nd of January. So all year round, you can follow Little Rock baseball.
Yeah, well, let's hit it at Valentine's Day and fall in love with the Trojans.
Sounds great.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Block Talk. See you soon.